comments from earlier in the week last week from Kyle Petty on NBC. Kyle Petty says, if I'm a veteran driver at the Gibbs organization, I'm looking over my shoulder as the young JGR drivers were succeeding with Ty Gibbs and Christopher Bell winning last week. Denny responded on Twitter saying, choose your media sources wisely, folks, and included screenshots of links to an article about his contract extension and a graphic of him first in points after the Daytona road course. Then says it's unlikely he has any clue what's going on. Brett, spot on, spot off.
First of all, I'm spot on for Kyle's comments because Kyle's job as a media member is to make people think. The Christopher Bell reference to me is completely irrelevant. Christopher obviously has already won a race at Gibbs and is already embedded in the Cup Series, so there's not like he's going to kick out one of the other guys. You know, clearly Ty Gibbs is a development guy. I would say Ty Gibbs is either going to end up driving for Denny Hamlin or for Joe Gibbs, right? That makes the most sense, but that's not going to happen overnight. I could see 2-3 years down the road him taking the place of any of those three guys. I mean, Martin, Kyle, Denny, they're all 40-ish. And I mean, look, man, we know how the sport is. At some point, they'll squeeze you out, whether it's money-based or it's performance-based. You never know where these guys are going to be in 2-3 years, where the money's going to be in 2-3 years. And obviously, Ty's deeply embedded in the Gibbs organization and Toyota. So I don't fault Kyle for saying this. I think it's awesome, though, that Denny comes back and takes some jabs. Clearly, there's something in the air there between those two guys.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Ty Gibbs, he can go out and win every Xfinity start he has this year. I still don't think you see him in Xfinity until probably 2023 at the earliest.
In Xfinity?
Cup.
I'm sorry, in Cup.
Okay.
At the earliest. So now you're looking at, I think Truex did a deal this year, which all their deals are like 2 or 3 years, I think. So now you're talking about the end of Truex's deal or the end of Kyle's deal. Denny, you know, I think he just re-upped for another 3, so that's probably put you to like 24 range. But these guys, I get what you do. I get what you're doing. You're trying to have us talk about it, have people talk about what you're saying. So that's a good move on his part. That's what you're paid to do is have people talk about, you know, what you're talking about. But I just don't. I felt like it was pretty irrelevant. Like it's 2-3 years down the line at the earliest.
I mean, you got to know that they've got a plan. There's a zero chance that Gibbs doesn't have a plan somewhere in their head what they would like Ty to be doing. And if Ty goes out and is really successful, I feel like we've been watching Ty race for like 10 years, and he's only like, 18, 19 or whatever?
18, yeah.
Yeah, and he's been winning races for a handful of years now, and I do think he needs this year and complete year next year at least. And if he goes out next year and wins 5-6 races, I think so they're going to have to find a spot for him somewhere. But the example of this that would to me is Hendrick. Hendrick's they've started signing all these young kids, and now they're starting to be. I mean, William just won. You got Larson in there and Bowman in there. I bet you could add up all theirs and not even get close to one of Gibbs' guys. I don't know. What do you think? You know more about that area.
I would say
as far as pay.
Chase Elliott's making bank. The other three probably aren't.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Chase is probably – but minus Chase, I mean, how many – we're talking millions, right? Millions and millions.
Millions of dollars difference, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Chase makes more than the other 3 combined?
Yes. Base salary?
I mean, he's a champion.
I agree.
Base salary, hands down. Yes. I think there are drivers in the Cup Series right now that their salaries are capped. And I don't mean their salary. Let me rephrase that. Their earnings are capped. No matter how well you do, no matter how many races you win, you're capped at how much money you can make because there's inventory available on those cars. And when you have inventory available, as an owner, you've got to get that money back from somewhere. So that's going to be the purse, right? So when you hear that, you know, teams have sponsorship available, that money's got to come from somewhere. And it's going to have to come from the purse. Well, guess who that makes lose money? The driver.
I think we talked about this either last week or the week before, you know, more Toyota teams. And that the point of more Toyota teams is to give yourself options because in years past you had guys coming up in Toyotas, whether it be truck or Xfinity, and you kind of, all right, we don't have anywhere to put them right now, you know, so you end up with Christopher Bell in the 95 or whatever.
Haley Deegan to Ford.
Yeah, like Haley Deegan goes to Ford. But now with 2311 or with, you know, rumors of other teams going to Toyota, now you've got options. Now, you know, one guy, I see speculation on this all over the internet, Twitter, Reddit, wherever. I can tell you one guy that I don't think will ever run a 2311, and I think that's Denny Hamlin. I think Denny Hamlin is going to run the 11 car until his career is over. And then, maybe the last couple of years, maybe do something with his own team. But I think he has no interest in driving one of his own race cars.
Here's what I don't think the comments cover, and that is the Harrison Burtons of the world.
Yeah.
That is
the
Brandon Jones of the world. Daniel Hendrick, I'm not going to put in that conversation yet because he just got to Toyota. But, those guys are heavily in bed with Toyota and have been their entire careers. So where do they go and when do they go? And that's the question, right? If somebody's on their heels, it's not Ty Gibbs just yet.
Yeah.
I think they've got a good crop coming. You know what I mean? They've got a good group of kids they've been grooming. And Brandon Jones, I think he's gotten really good at the Xfinity cars. He knows how to drive them.
Once he stopped wrecking, he's fast, man.
If he drives at a 9 out of 10 the whole race, he finds the lead near late in the race, and he's good. I mean, he just seems to always have some bad luck he always gets himself in some trouble at some point. But Harrison to me is still. We saw him when he was in Kyle's trucks. We weren't really sure if he was gonna keep growing. To me, he's still growing.
Yeah,
I
4
see
Xfinity wins.
I see Harrison still getting better and better. So, and obviously Ty coming in there winning the road course, and Ty seems to have a good head on his shoulders. They could have, Ty and Harrison and possibly Brandon Jones down the road they could be a great group to have in there. So.
It'll be interesting to see Ty where do we go this week? Phoenix or no? Vegas. Then Phoenix.
Vegas.
It'll be interesting to see Ty in that Phoenix race where it's very easy to get frustrated no matter how good your car is when you're stuck in dirty air and it's hard to pass.
I want to see Ty at a mile and a half. That's what I want to see Ty. But those cars are quick at mile and a half, so he's probably going to have speed to start with.
Yeah, I think I'm not none of it's easy, but I think it's almost easier. You have more maneuverability at a mile and a half versus a place like Phoenix where you're kind of locked in. It's hard to pass.
I know
no matter
Ty,
how good your car is.
I know Ty can get it done from the top 5 at a mile and a half track. I want to see what happens when they have a pit road penalty or something, and Ty has to get through the pack and move around and be patient at times and wait for the mistakes of the other cars. That's where I want to see Ty and see how he does in them situations.
Brad Keselowski had an interesting tweet in response to all this too. He said, "This is also crazy," and then he put his next text in quotes as if it's coming from someone else, maybe a team owner's perspective. "Are you younger and can we pay you less? Do you have any followers on social media? Yes, we like you. What's that? You've never won, let alone contend for a cup win? No big deal." Then he said, "There are tons of great drivers, young drivers, but the hype train is insane."
Brad is not wrong. I mean, it sounds like sour grapes when he says it, but he's not wrong. I don't think.
No, the hype train, and the train gets longer when they do good too.
It'll run over you. Be careful.
It'll run over you.
What's your checklist when you're trying to sell Jeb Burton to Cheddars? Like, how are you, like, is that relevant? Your Twitter followers, your social activation, like
everything right now is about telling a story for these brands, right? And you need to align with the brands. I mean, Jeb Burton was a chosen one for Nutrient Solutions because of his background, and it was outdoors, it was agriculture, it was farming. Ward's a big landowner. Ward owns a foundation that goes out and captures land and makes it to where nothing can ever be built on it. He protects our planet. So when you're looking at sponsors right now and you're looking at drivers, it has to align with their personalities. They have to be an ideal brand ambassador, or it's flat out not going to work. And then, to your point, the hype train, right? Got to show some promise. Jeb showed a lot of promise here, running a part-time schedule for JRM. But, man, when you look at these brands, these are big-time brands doing big-time things, and you got to be able to tell a story. Do you want to get a great deal in your home? Make sure you visit OfferPad.com. And when you click on OfferPad.com, make sure you tell them you heard about them through their NASCAR partnerships.